Morning.
Good morning.
How are you all?
Good morning.
Oh, we got Kimberly. Yes. Hello, sunshine.
Yay.
Hello.
Let's hear some good news. What do we got?
Okay. Let's see. I am going today to, well, the lady who I usually do showings for, she
Mhm.
is a flight attendant. And
She's a
she
what?
is closing today on she's closing today on one of the properties that I show one of her clients. So she called me and asked me if I would like to attend it just to have the experience. So we're
Cool.
going today. We're going to do the
Oh,
final walkthrough and I'm going to sit in on the closing process.
very cool. Very, very cool. Nice.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's cool to learn all the aspects of the business all the way through, just so you have a really good understanding, and then you can prep your clients for, this is what this is like. If you're a person who goes to the closing with the clients. And there's
Okay.
some states make you, some don't, and some agents do it and some agents never do it. So it's just, it depends on your state and then how that works. But very
Okay.
good to know. It's always good to know. I used to tell the agents that would start with me, they're like, I want to get a TC right out of the gate. And I'm like, do a transaction on your own. It's gonna suck, but just do the whole thing on your own because you'll learn it. And then after you know it, like, I don't care if you ever touch anything again, as far as, TC work and that kind of stuff, like fly with it after that point. So anyway, cool beans.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
excited
lot.
for you.
It is a lot. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. All right, who else has got some good news?
I moved.
Yes. Hang on,
My internet works.
Do you know where the coffee pot is?
Man, that was the first thing I moved.
Yay.
Like, where's my coffee cup? It's literally.
Uh-huh.
I even bought a couple more coffee cups just to make sure.
Yep. I have moved so many dang times, and the last thing I do is I've got whatever big clothes basket I've got, and coffee pot goes in there, everything to make coffee, and then like toilet paper, roll of paper towels, soap, you know what I mean? Like just really basic stuff that when you get there, it's like, oh my God, where is a set of sheets, set of towels. I think that's it. Like just enough to get you through that morning, the next morning. So you're not scrambling around trying to figure out where everything is. That is like, I always know where my coffee pot is. Don't touch it, leave it alone. Right. It goes in my car, guarded by me.
Right. My computer and my coffee went in my car.
Yeah, see? That's someone who knows how to move. Love it. All right, congrats.
And at 10 o'clock last night, my son was like, where are the towels? I was like, where did you pack them? He was like, oh.
So Greg, okay, so my husband had only moved when he was 6 years old. And then when he became an adult, his parents moved and he bought their house. So he never moved. And when I met him, and we went to move the first move, and he was the next morning, he was like, where's the can opener? Are you flipping kidding me? Like, suffer or eat something else, man. Crack open some boxes. I don't know. Man.
I was like, eat the kids' dinosaur chicken nuggets. I don't give a flying fuck.
Yep.
Sorry, my language.
That's okay.
So, anyway, good to see you guys.
Good to see you too. Brontosaurus got eaten last night and he survived.
Yeah.
All right. Craig, what you got for some good news?
I had a land contract accepted yesterday. Well, Friday. Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. So he got it accepted, and then so we're trying to figure out what he wants to do with it.
Nice.
Just a little shy of 7 acres.
Ooh.
Yeah. I know that's potential.
Yeah. So
what's his zone?
I'm sorry?
What's his zone?
Agricultural right now.
Okay.
Yeah, which is good.
Is it on the border of another zoning?
Yeah. Between commercial and residential.
Yes. That's perfect. You got math potential with that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So already in touch with talked to a new developer yesterday. So he's doing quite a few things. He's interested in another lot. He's gonna go out and look at it this Thursday and potentially see if he can build some condos on it. And if he builds them, he'll let me sell them.
Nice. Very nice. Congrats.
Yeah.
Cool beans. All right. Liz or Anna, I think we haven't heard from you too. And I don't think we're going to. All right. No worries. Okay, let's talk contracts first. And let's go into
I'm
what.
here, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
I couldn't click on mute fast enough. I'm sorry. Good morning, everyone. I missed you. I hope you all had a good weekend. My kiddos are sick, but the good news is that I got into contract for one of my clients with whom I've spent like, I want to say we looked at close to like 12, 15 homes. So I'm super happy that they found something, but there's some fishy stuff going on in the preliminary discussions that are making me feel like we might be uncovering something during inspection. It's scheduled today, so I have no idea. Yes, I am on the phone. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's totally cool. Take care of your kiddos. We totally get it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So it'll be
Yes.
interesting to see what pops up.
yeah, I know. Me too. I'm
Are you gonna be
curious
able to
know
go? I'm sorry,
What,
Anna.
love?
I said, are you
Oh,
gonna be able to go with the kids sick?
I have no idea. The school called. Okay, you're not going to the doctor. Calm down. Sorry, guys. Like, I don't want to go to the doctor. I never told her she's going to the doctor. My God. I have no idea, love. That's what I'm hoping I'd be able to do, but I have no idea if I'm going to be able to. And the worst part is this client is like, he loves construction, fixing, flipping, like he loves all that stuff. So he's like thrilled about the idea of going to the inspection. Most of my clients are like, yeah, just let me know what's wrong with it. So this guy's like, no, I gotta be there from the beginning to the very end. I gotta listen to everything. Gotta walk the property with the inspector. We gotta find stuff together. I'm like, oh my God. So I have no idea.
Maybe you can set up a Zoom somehow if nothing else that you can,
to remotely be there.
yeah.
I
remotely
hope,
be there.
love, I hope they'll be able to he'll be okay with that. I'm sure he would. He knows the little ones. He knows I have little ones and he has little ones too. So I'm pretty sure he'll sympathize, but I don't think he's gonna be happy. So I'm gonna try.
Well,
I
maybe you
will
can
try
find somebody to sit with the kids. I'm too far away, or I'd offer.
Oh, you're the best. You're the best, Kathy. Thank you. You are amazing.
You got
Thank
that
you, Mary.
helicopter or jet in your pocket, right? You can come grab me
Yeah,
real
for
quick.
sure.
I love
For
it.
sure. Hey, one day soon. I know I will. One
There
day
you go.
soon.
Love it,
And
love
I
it,
can't
love
wait
it.
to travel the world with y'all.
And maybe because he's got little ones, everybody will understand. If I don't want my kids to get your kids sick, because that's just a reality,
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
kids were petri dishes. And the one thing I was like, please, I don't want the sick kids, man. We're all gonna
Yeah, I know.
get it. So, all right.
For sure.
Okay. Liz, are you able to talk today? Or are you just a listener? Liz is a listener. Okay.
Tuesdays are her busiest day because it's her first day back at work after working like 3 or 4 days off. So they're not good days for her. I've learned that.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for that heads up, because I never knew that pattern. I just was
Yeah.
like, Liz talk today? Can Liz not talk today?
Oh,
Okay.
but look, PF just joined.
I know, but since he's in the dark and muted, I'm not going to put him on the spot yet, but we will in a minute. So Kathy, if you came in a little bit later, has an investor that wants to do their own contracts. And have you guys run into this? We've got investors that don't want to use your standard state contracts or local board contracts. Guys haven't run into this? Okay. So
I have, but
ooh, yeah, what
for
do you do?
larger deals or for tenancies, not really purchases yet. Only on the commercial side, I've seen that happen a lot more.
Yeah, well, commercial side, yeah, it's a free for all. People write crazy things all over the
Mhm.
place on all kinds of stuff. So on residential, if I have somebody that wants to write a strange contract or anything like that, we go through and I use the regular state contracts, but then I'm like, relax. You can have all of your contract as an addendum, and anything in the addendum supersedes what's in the regular contract. And if you don't like stuff on a contract, we literally have taken pen and we just cross off whole sections. And we would literally just black, create cross straight across, or the entire section, initial and date, both of it, and send it in. And then the addendums, the extra addendums, whenever they want some weird stuff, I always go to the addendum library, wherever that's kept, your MLS or your jot forms or whatever they're called. I would go there and I would find one to see if it matched what we were looking for. And if it does, use that, because lawyers have looked at that and it's already passed their muster. The only danger you get into when you write your own addendum is that you're not an attorney. Well, maybe you are, but typically you're not an attorney, and you need to make sure that you're covering the right bases when you're writing your language in. So those bases are the who, what, where, when, why, how much, and who's going to pay, and whose satisfaction. So it's just your classic, make sure you're covering the regular, who, what, where, when, why, how. And then the other ones you're covering how much, who's going to pay it, and whose satisfaction. And if your addendum covers those, unless those don't pertain on any level, you know what I mean? Unless there's these doesn't make sense to put those in. But if your addendum covers those things, your butt's covered.
In Texas, I don't think we can do that. I mean, we have to use the Trek contracts, or an attorney has to write the contract.
Can you do an addendum? You don't have blank addendums?
Yeah, well, we have addendums. We could do the addendums, like you said, but it has to be on Trek forms, or an
Yeah.
attorney is the only other one that can write a contract.
Yep. So yeah, use the Trek forms and then toss an addendum on top of it. And the addendum is their addendum. It can be literally their stuff. Just addendum with it. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking like a completely blank addendum. I don't know that I've ever seen that. Have you, Anna?
I have, yeah, love. So my prior brokerage actually had a completely blank addendum in our transaction desk, which is the equivalent to SkySlope. So they had it there, but yesterday I was looking for that exact same thing on SkySlope, and I see that EXP has not included the blank addendum. So what I did was I told my client, I said, listen, I'm not allowed to draft any languages that would be construed as legal advice, that would be construed as legal assistance. I'm not licensed to practice law in Texas. I am in California and Nevada, but that doesn't fly here. So I told him, I said, if you want specific language to be added, I need you to send me an email and let me know exactly what that language is going to be. I'll go ahead and put it in the special provisions area, and just essentially not for a 1 to 4K, it was for a rental lease agreement. So he sent that in, and he basically said, this is the language I want to be added to the contract. And I have that email saved just in case there's any issue. But with JPAR, they had that integrated into the transaction desk. So you were able to use an addendum without having to go through an entirely new and non-promulgated form.
Love it.
And
Love
can't
that.
you,
Also, go ahead.
I'm sorry, can't you just put like, see such and such a page in that blank addendum to direct?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I did. So I added it as like a exhibit / attachment to it, because his verbiage was actually really long and it wouldn't fit in the 3 lines that we had there. So I just added it there to see additional addendum. So,
Yep.
but it's titled as an addendum.
Yep, exactly. It's titled as an addendum. So if it's not in, okay, I love what you did. First off, you have his proof, his language, his stuff, your CY8 all the way through. It is a beautiful way of doing it. I wonder also if, instead of going just through SkySlope and what EXP has uploaded, if you can get into the state forms, see if there is one, and throw it up into SkySlope and just upload it on your own. Not
That's
Yeah,
what we do in
sure.
Tennessee. Because our forms are not uploaded into SkySlope.
No.
So we get our Trek forms, and I do everything in transaction desk.
and send it through Transaction Desk and then upload it into SkySlope. And so once they're signed and the checklist, EXP generates a checklist of necessary documents, as long as they're Trek forms and broker approved, we just upload the signatures. Now there's a way you can send it from Transaction Desk up. Michelle does this. So our state form, she has a way of sending it through SkySlope.
The email, it's the SkySlope.
Yeah,
email.
it's a Sky, yeah. So if you want to know how to do it that way, contact Michelle Hereford, where you don't have the extra step that I just did. But the addendum is in Transaction Desk, like Anna was saying, and it's blank, and you can add in but there's a way to link the SkySlope with Transaction Desk.
Is Transaction Desk a part of KV Core or what? I've never seen
No,
that.
each state has a different,
Okay.
Like ours is zip forms, Kate. Ours is zip forms. It's
Okay,
provided
so it's
through our
comparable to
web-
zip forms.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Okay.
so
Exactly.
whatever
Got
your
it.
state uses,
Yep.
yeah.
So
Yep.
for us, we actually don't have a state completely blank one. So
We
my
don't?
brokerage, my prior broker had that just uploaded into our separate Transaction Desk specific to the brokerage. And all it was is essentially a property address line on top, and then it says addenda. That's it. And
Yeah.
you could title it whatever type of
wanted.
addenda you want, that is not covered by one of the promulgated forms that we have.
Yeah.
So it's completely, it's like a blank thing. So all you do is identify the property and attach an addenda, and it could say anything, anything at all.
Yeah,
So-
that's what we used to have. And for really weird stuff, we literally had addendum A, B, C, D, and then you just had to make sure for our forms that on the front, there was a section of the document that had everything that was attached to the regular PSA, purchase and sale agreement. And you had to make sure that that lined up, that if you had an addendum A there was an addendum A in the back.
Mhm.
But you could, I mean, we really, when I first went to, I think it was Virginia or California, I forget which one, because in Washington State, we drew through stuff all the time. We signed and dated and, we'd go back and forth like that. So contracts by the time they were done were kind of messy. And once in a while, someone throw a fit and want to clean up a contract. And I'm like, leave that. That's your proof with dates and everything. Like, leave that thing alone. Anyway, and then when I got to one of the states, they saw a contract, one of my agents with stuff crossed out, and they're like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, that's what we did all the time. I mean, it wasn't one of mine, it was somebody else's. And like, is it even legal? And I'm like, it's initial and dated. Like, you're allowed to cross off stuff. You just are. Broker may not like it, but everybody initial and dated didn't agree to it. So, we're at mutual agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, don't be afraid if they've got other stuff that you need to add in. I love what Anna did, having them write, having them and having that CYA. That's a really great thing. I used to always call my broker when I drafted my own stuff, because we had to draft a lot of stuff our own, but with the short sale messes that we were in all the time. And I'd write it all out, and then I would call my broker. And every time she's like, yep, you're perfect. Yep, you're perfect. And finally she's like, you don't need to call me anymore. And I'm like, no, I feel uncomfortable unless I call you and you tell me I'm good. I always just operate underneath the broker says do it, run with it, you're fine.
I have another question with all this. I know this works fine if they're going to do a fix and flip. But what if they want to do wholesale? I know Gary said that it was tricky. And how do I represent them if they want to do wholesale, offer a wholesale deal?
So this one's completely out of my wheelhouse, but I do know Gary did a kick butt class on it where he
did.
Yeah, and EXP said that you can do that, that's legal. So I would go find that.
I'll find it. And I sat in on it again, but I don't remember the piece where you're in there as the realtor.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, Kay, the way it would work is, sorry, Kathy. I think the way it would work, love, is basically the wholesaler is technically taking the place of the listing agent, and you are taking the place of the buyer's agent. So you're representing the buyer, wholesaler is representing the assignment that they have. So they're trying to assign it to your buyer. and you're acting on the capacity of a buyer's agent. So your role doesn't change. The tricky part is the wholesaler's role. So the wholesaler, and sometimes they want to work with a listing agent as well. That's where it gets trickier. So it's like the wholesaler assigning the rights to the buyer, but with the representation of a listing agent. I feel like that's way
That
more
makes sense.
complicated. Mhm.
Yeah,
But
see,
then
the
the
thing
part
is, this is not my listing.
Uh-huh.
And so I feel like I should just step back. They asked me what my percentage was.
Wait,
Mhm.
before you
Wait.
do that, call Gary.
You represent the buyer, don't you?
Yeah, but he
Hey,
wants
don't
to,
step back.
they want to
Don't
offer,
step back. Don't
Why
step
would you
back.
step back?
Yeah, don't
This
do
is
that.
totally,
is-
this is
Well,
totally in line with you.
right now it's kind of mute, but I want to know because if I'm going to start working with these investors, this is going to come up again and again,
Mhm.
you know, and especially with new ones. So,
One thing you just have to be clear on, Kathy, is if they're trying to go through an off-market property, the one thing that I would say be sure to be clear on with them from the very get-go is your commission payout. So a lot of wholesalers are not willing to pay the buyer's agent's commission.
mhm.
Some of them are, some of them have that incorporated into the price already. But a lot of them don't want to have to pay the buyer's agent. So you just have to find out what it is. But from the very beginning, if you know that you have a client who is interested in off-market properties, like a lot of people might approach you and say, you know, I want foreclosure homes, I want short sale homes, I want stuff that are basically not listed or perhaps from auctions or from wholesalers. If that's the case, the only thing you have to be cautious about is to make sure your buyer's rep with them pays your commission irrespective of the deal that you're closing. So
Mhm.
our rep here in Texas, it just provides like, okay, our commission is 3%, but then the paragraph underneath says the first attempt will be to collect it from the selling side or from the listing side. And if for whatever reason the amount is not procured, then you know we'll attempt to collect it from the buyer. So I would make sure that that's incorporated into your buyer's agreement, but otherwise you're acting in the same exact capacity with a wholesaler as you would with any traditional listing. So do not back away from it.
Mm-mm.
It's a deal.
Yeah, exactly. It's a deal and so we also used to address it in buyer rep that basically the same exact language that our fee was, you know, it was 3% unless the house was underneath X amount and then it was, you know, $4,000 or whatever, who cares, whatever. Because we had so many price points that were dirt cheap. And all attempts will be made again to have that paid by seller. If there is a difference or, you know, it doesn't match up, then that difference will be paid by buyer. And that's just was in there to protect us.
And I would say from your buyer's perspective, they actually need you even more dealing with wholesalers than they would with traditional listings. Because at least traditional listings are managed by realtors who have a code of ethics, at least to some extent, and are
Right.
regulated by the law. Wholesalers most of the time are not. I've seen some really, really unethical people who are trying to fly a lot of things by. And to a buyer who is not represented by someone who knows what the right things to do are, they can really get screwed. So your buyer really needs you on this one more than any other transaction, I would say.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I feel like I need to talk some more, maybe not in this forum, so I'm not, you know, hogging the thing here, but yeah, it's in this case, they're starting out as there is a MLS listing that they're wanting to present a wholesale offer on. And so
Wow.
it's not the
Off
off market. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's kind of weird. And you know, they're asking the typical questions, and I've told them, you know, like and I've checked a couple quick spots for them, but You know, I said, like, you need to go to the clerk and
No.
check the records. I don't feel like that's something I should be doing.
So is your buyer the wholesaler?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, I see.
so,
Okay.
Different.
basically,
Mhm.
and he wants to buy, your buyer, your wholesaler wants to purchase, listed.
Purchase and then wholesale it.
That's right. So, working
Oh,
with
I
him,
And he just has to make an offer.
so.
Well, yeah, but
Is he actually gonna buy it, or is he having investors buy it?
I think he's trying to figure out what the exit strategy is, to be honest, because he's was
Normally-
debating between wholesaling it and or keeping it as a fix and flip.
Okay, if he has the money to buy, you can represent him just like you do a regular buyer. But if
Mhm.
he's just gonna wholesale it, he just wants to do like a normal wholesale on his end, where he just gets it under contract and fishes
And
it
then-
around.
And I think that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, he can't do that. You can't do that for him.
Yeah.
He will have to have an investor, and you would actually represent the investor that's gonna purchase it. If he already has an investor lined up that's gonna buy it, that's fine. But he can't hold up a property and put another piece of paper on it, waiting for
To
for
sign
him
it.
to fish for another investor.
Yeah, without having someone to assign it to.
Yeah, he already have to have them lined up. If he has an investor lined up that says, hey, because I'm working with a guy now that's doing the same thing.
Okay,
But and this is sort of like what Gary explained in that class. So if he's a wholesaler, it's fine, because he has investors that has him looking for properties. When he give them the criteria for the properties, and they say, yeah, we want to purchase it, or we want to put in an offer on it, he already has his
the other side.
yeah, he already has his built in with that investor.
Okay, and see, I don't
and
even
he-
think they're at that point.
Yeah, so yeah, leave him alone.
Well, or.
I mean,
have a
well,
meeting
with the
him.
deal.
Yeah, yeah, have a meeting with them and say, it has to be A or B,
Yeah.
or C or D. Here's your options. Which one are you gonna do? I'm going to wholesale it. You have to have a person in place on the other side. You
Yeah.
have to get rock solid, that person's in place, because basically, as a wholesaler, you're grabbing this thing and handing it right over here. You have to be able to do that. So have that conversation with them. And I would have that conversation with him now, get him set straight, because you said he's newer.
Yeah,
So yeah, he's new to the game. So just sit him down and go, look, let me just explain to you how this game works. Let's walk through. Which one do you want to do?
Because his contract would be with the investor.
right.
The
Right.
end buyer. And
Right.
he wouldn't even be disclosed in the deal between you and the listing agent, between the buyer and the listing agent. He gets his from a contract, a back contract that he already has, that he would already have with the investor.
And buyer.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess I have a
Starts
question.
Here, and then goes there to put it over there.
yeah.
Okay, if he's a wholesaler with an investor buyer, why can't he just make an offer to buy the property at X amount with his name and or assigns?
Our state won't let us do that.
Really? Hmm.
No.
I know there's it's a real thin line. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be careful, and sometimes that's how you word things, and then working with the title company that understands how it works and all that. And do you have a title company that understands how all this works and can do this?
I'm going to have to meet with them and talk to them because
Talk to
I-
your title companies.
yeah, I have one I like much better than the other, but I need to talk to them and see how
The
they're,
big boxes tend to not want to do it.
yeah,
You tend, the smaller independents, we went, just when we bought our house, which is not wholesaling at all it was Greg and I sold the house to Greg, I and Mom. And we wanted to not do, we didn't want to have any tax implications with it. So, it's just a standard, we're selling, we're buying. And I had to go find a title company that could deal with that. There's nothing illegal with it, just the big ones were like, and it was like, no, I don't need any of that crap. I just need this, doing this. That's all I need. And then I found one that was like, yeah, sure, we can do that all day long. We get it. And they
Yeah.
work with investors.
Yeah, it's just different with wholesalers because wholesalers, they want to hold the deal up.
Yes.
You know, they,
Piece out of the middle of a normal transaction that you wouldn't.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's fine because if they're legworking to find the people to do it and all that, and they're doing that, I mean, there's a reason why it exists.
yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong, guys, a lot of states recently started making wholesaling illegal.
Yeah, they're
So
going
you
after
wanna,
it.
yeah, you wanna check your state law first, Kathy, and make sure that that practice is even acceptable, even okay, and the title company, like Gina said, would be the best contact for that, and just get in touch with one of their attorneys or reach out to an EO that you trust, the escrow officer that you trust, and be like, hey, can you put me in touch with one of your attorneys? I want to check and make sure this is even legal within our state bounds. And if they say no, it makes your job a lot easier. If they say yes, then find out the nuances. Are there any limitations? Are there any restrictions? What should we be made aware of? And let them guide you on that, so that they can basically steer you away from something that might come back to haunt you for something that's not worth it.
That's
Should we
actually,
go through the broker too, to see what they say?
You could.
You know, you
Alright.
can, but I feel like the brokers don't really know a lot about
lot of them
these
don't.
stuff.
Yeah,
they
that's what
have
I'm
no
afraid of.
that's very true. So Gary knows Virginia law actually really well. So he's a good resource for this one because that's where he practiced real estate. And I agree with that. Some brokers really know a contract and they don't, and you have to dig around and find through the laws yourself or with a good, real estate attorney. And you're right, title and escrow or can really walk you through a lot of stuff. They have to be current on a lot of that also.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's illegal here in Virginia now.
It's not illegal in Texas, is it, Anna? I mean, I see a ton of them.
Yeah, exactly. It's not illegal here yet, but you do have to walk a very fine line. And you do have to specify, you have to have that assignment language in the contract. But no, a lot of investors are actually doing it.
Yeah, I know it's one of the favorites for investors. I mean, it really is. And that's what they're taught. You start out with wholesaling because it's a quick way to build equity, and then you've got money to work with.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm on the Virginia code. That's where I go for a lot of stuff. I go straight into the law.
I love it, Gina.
I'm like, screw everybody else. I'm going straight to it. The licensable privilege of wholesale selling. So it's legal. Here's the legal code. There's probably more. I mean, don't take what the heck? Don't take just my word for it here. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
my computer's acting so strange. Hang on. Command C, there we go. Chat, Command V, there we go. I can't get the dumb thing to copy. All right, so there's that. All right. Sounds like you have some fun work on your hands.
Yeah, well, that was part of going to the investor meetup.
It's good to learn stuff too. So you're going to come out knowing more than anybody else, and that is awesome.
Yeah, and I think you can educate your wholesaler since he's new.
Well, yeah.
You can educate him. And so the guy that I'm working with, he found some guy in California, and this is his strategy, is to find properties on the MLS, through the MLS, mainly properties that they feel maybe overpriced. They've been sitting there for a while.
90 days.
They can get a investor that wants to make a offer on it. But when he finds a property, I handle it. He has the investor lined up, and the contract is between me and the investor. The investor makes the offer on the property.
Like Kay was saying.
Yeah. then he and the investor have their own totally separate contract where, for compensation on the back end. It never enters our contract at all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That I would feel comfortable with.
Yeah. And that's sort of the way Gary explained it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So, you have some fun ahead of you. You do. And you also gave me a cool idea because you took around some people and said, what would you do to this property? That would be a really fun thing to get a group of people who haven't invested before and go around and do a road show where you look at 2 or 3 distressed properties and say, what would you guys do? And
Yeah.
just work through and educate people who want to invest, and what a great way to grow people into investing.
Exactly. And
That's
then
what our RIA does. Our RIA had a 2-day seminar about 2 weeks ago, and that's exactly what they did. And it was great.
yeah. I've
Be
done
brilliant,
that on
aren't
the
we?
other side. I've done
Yeah.
that on the other side, been that person that goes in and sees that property. And one of the things when I went to that, I don't remember, a seminar, I'm just going to say seminar that Gary was speaking at with investors.
Uh-huh.
One of the things they were talking about, if you start your own RIA group or whatever, is to do exactly that. And so I decided that when they reached out and said, to me that this was a way to do it, and
Yeah.
so
I love
I
it.
just went that way.
Love it, love it, love it.
So
All right.
I kind of wish they would have answered me the day I asked, because then it wouldn't have been pending. But it's a 3-1 ranch with a basement, and it was listed at 149.9. Now,
Wow.
granted, it's out in Madison County, so it's out a bit,
Right.
but still on an acre.
Holy moly. Is there the opportunity to put another half bath in up against that one bath?
I was trying to figure that out when I went back and looked, because I was going to go just to look, and I figured reach out, see if they want to come with me.
Right.
Because I was thinking for my own self,
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you
Well,
turn it into a 3 1.5 or a 3 2, you have something.
Yeah.
at that price.
I know you'd be able to do it downstairs once there's a moisture issue. They turned all the power off,
Mhm.
and there's a sub pump down there, and
Oh,
and so now there's some stuff like that downstairs
right.
that needs to be addressed. And I can't tell for sure, but I think a great deal of it's from, they don't have any gutters. They have a foot overhang.
Virginia does not do gutters. What the
Yeah.
hey? That is the weirdest thing. And
Yeah.
it rains there.
Yeah, so not
Sorry.
this year, but
I
yeah,
noticed that when I first moved there. I was like, there's no gut. So like you're standing at the front door and the rain just comes down in a sheet. I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I come from Washington. We gutter everything.
yeah. And a
I
lot
have
of times
to
when
do
they
that.
do put gutters on, they just put it on the low peak. I mean,
Yeah.
the low side of it. They
Right.
don't go all the way around.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
It's very weird. So
So,
anyway, the vagaries
anyway.
of Virginia building codes, whatever. All right, you all. For everybody that was on the meeting last night, thank you for supporting me. It was, I was like wrong group, wrong message. So I'm kind of working my way through that in my head today. But what I do appreciate is all of your support immensely, hugely, fabulously. So thank you. And Craig, I could not tell if you were serious or not. And I was like, I have notes, but I'm like, oh, I think he's just giving me a bad time. I'm not going to talk to you anymore.
Yeah,
No,
I
you
had to say
kidding.
the thing about the music too. So I just had
I tried the first time to find my iTunes, couldn't find it, which is stupid, but I could not get it to go. And then this time I'm like, all right, I am prepped. I have a song. It's jazzy. It's good. Nope, nobody can hear the thing.
Hmm.
Really? Like, how do people do the technology?
Yeah, I
and
was
one of
like-
the folks that I took to it was on there last night, Doris Lee.
Yeah.
She was one of the investors that went to this property.
Ah,
So
Yeah,
I
I was
invited
just
them all
having
to
a
our Monday
problem.
night.
Getting on, period. I couldn't hear anything whenever I got on. So
right.
I ended up having to turn my phone off and
Reset.
reset it. Yeah.
We lost all internet earlier, and so I was like, oh, please, God, let the internet come back on, because otherwise I have to drive who knows how many Starbucks away to get to where there's internet, because if it goes out, it goes out, and we don't have, we have nothing out here, which is crazy. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. I really, really do. So thank you. All right. Okay. Have a fabulous rest of your days. I will see you all mañana, and just know that if I could, I would just wrap my arms around my computer right now and hug all you. I appreciate all you so much. So
Do you have time later today?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
In and out of today. Hang on one second. I'll call you right
Don't
now.
we-
We'll do that. I got a little bit of right now.
Okay.
Guys, aren't we
Hey,
on at
guys.
1 or 2?
We're meeting today at
2 your time.
2 my time, 1 your time.
Okay, perfect.
Cool
Thanks,
beans.
everybody.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Love you guys. Have a good
You
one.
too.
You
You
too.
too.